It's in no man's land right now.
I'll jump over to the DXY and show why. I just want to grab a link for this and put it in the chat. Right. Everyone live now on YouTube. Okay, cool. That's done. That is out. Okie dokie. So yeah, it looks like that might have gone without us, sadly. Simply because, I'll tidy up these charts in just a moment, but simply because we have taken the liquidity on the dollar. We haven't taken it on EU, but I feel like, we were talking about that at the weekend, weren't we? We were talking about that liquidity pool being sat underneath that news move. I've noticed that dollar does this quite often. The dollar will often take the trap out, and the dollar will quite often take the trap out, and then it won't do it on EU or GU. As you can see here. Ooh, what are you doing? Get out here. Get out. Get out. Sorry, my dog just burst in. So, yeah, I think probably that's already gone. If we can get a bit of a pullback, I'll definitely consider it. On a Monday, when I've got no kind of weekly momentum yet, I'm not in a huge rush to just jump into that. There's a nice little zone there I quite like the look of. This little area here. Quite like the look of that. If I can get a pullback into there, I might see if I can get a position out. But other than that, I'm not in a rush to jump into it. It's one of those ones, isn't it, where you could do it like that. You've got a long way to move just for 2R. You'd much rather a tighter entry like that, but then you run the risk of obviously the trade not coming back to you. It's a difficult one. I felt like the entry really was there at that Asia high, kind of overnight. Where was it? Yeah, 2:30 a.m. Just shows how much liquidity is in those zones, though, doesn't it? Really, loads. Right, let's tidy up our charts. Let's do some analysis. Let's see what we're going to do for the rest of this week. So, I'll tell you what I might do, actually. I might have a proper clear up today. I might get everything gone. Get rid of them, get rid of them, get rid of them. Let's just start right at the beginning. I'll leave those weekly and monthly ones on because obviously they're miles away, but let's just tidy everything up. So monthly, obviously very bullish still. Last week, another bullish candle. Last couple of days, we did have a bearish day. On the Friday, let's do our weekly candles first. So we got a weekly high here. Oh, classic, not recording again, standard. Right, camera's off, start recording. Okay, so we got weekly high here. Let's mark that one on. And we've got a weekly low there. So no wick weekly low, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. In terms of kind of where we're heading, we've met EPA there already, so that's our EPA level, which we've tagged. A little bit of a reaction from there, as we can see. So EPA level, and if we just jump down to the daily, yeah. So our next liquidity point is, to be fair, we've got some quite nice areas. We are at that EPA level as well. That's that EPA level done. And then we've got obviously a daily level here. Would be, a first target, ideally. 4-hour range is confirmed now. Where you draw that from is kind of personal preference. To me, it looks most clear here. So for me, that's my clearest range. I had to draw it from the 2-hour, as you can see, because the 4-hour, I mean, you either draw a big old range like that. I mean, technically there is a 4-hour range here as well. When it's not really clear and defined, I like to just drop down a time frame and see if I can get a tighter one. So that, that is of course a range. That is of course a range as well. So we've got 2 ranges here, effectively, that we can play with. And one down here. Those are our 2 ranges that we're currently sat within. So that could mean that we've already completed the move that we needed to move to pull back on itself before we then go long again, because this is, of course, an external liquidity sweep. So right now I'm considering this market long again, and if we can get a pullback, of course, if we can get a pullback, we might get a trade out of here. In terms of kind of overall market direction, obviously it's quite bullish at the moment. It's really important that we don't predict what the market's going to do. The expectation for lots of us is going to be that the market's going to go short at some point, but until we get that clear indication, we're not going to assume that it is. We're just going to, have a loose expectation that this could happen because of the fact that we are, we've been bullish for so long now, and we are coming into areas where reversals may start coming in, but the markets will show us, if we want to trade this bearish from a kind of medium to long term basis or a medium term basis, we need a shift in momentum on the hourly time frame. Yes, we can trade it short if we get, a shift like we had last week. We could have traded that short. But as you can see very quickly, we have now, changed direction, and we've had a very clear bullish momentum push. That being said, we haven't actually confirmed yet bullish momentum. That's one thing that we need to watch out for. That big bullish push is probably bullish momentum coming back in, just with all the other structure, but we haven't yet confirmed it. It's not confirmed until we get that second push. Okay, that second push is now when we can assume that we're going to go higher. Okay, right now this could just be a liquidity sweep to take us down lower, to then generate some more liquidity to take us down lower again. We don't know yet what the market direction is, which is another reason why on a Monday we don't want to just rush into jumping into trades. Okay, so for me, I need a little bit more confirmation, a little bit more structure. To be fair, even a short, I often find this rule is really, really helpful. If I can make clear cases for both long and short, then I probably shouldn't be taking the trade, because this right now is just one push up in the bullish direction. Yes, that's in line with the time frames, etc., etc. We have our higher time frame momentum alongside it as well, but we haven't had that confirmation. This sort of structure is confirmation. When we get initial push, then a pullback, then initial push, then a pullback, this is confirmation of bullish price action. So you can then enter off here and you can trade, or here bullish momentum, then we've got liquidity sweep down here, and then you get into here. That's all bullish momentum coming into the marketplace. Right now this is one bullish push, and it's important to understand the difference between a bullish push and bullish momentum. Right now we've had a bullish push. We haven't yet got bullish momentum. We need confirmation for that first. And I've got just calls to go short, just as much as I've got just calls to go long. So for me, it's a no trade right now. Euro USD, again, let's do the same. Let's have a bit of a tidy up. Let's get rid of some of these lines. Get rid of some of that. Okay, so monthly, obviously heavily bearish. Oh, I put that on earlier, didn't I? So monthly candles, heavily bearish candle. And similar to the DXY, we are coming to areas that we can start expecting reversals from. Okay, we expect them, we don't predict them. Last week was obviously bearish. Let's mark on our highs and lows. Weekly high was here. Keep doing that. And that was a weekly low, and the weekly high is there. We're coming down to a monthly level now, so that's quite an important level if we do get there, of course. Let's have a look at the daily. So one daily bullish candle. Okay, so we mark that on bull. And again, we are assuming we're going to continue bearish on Euro USD. We've just had one bullish push. That bullish candle is one bullish push. This is probably just a liquidity grab on lower time frames. As you can see, we've had this pullback, and it's likely now that momentum will continue down to the sell side ultimately. Have a look at our daily candles. We've swept. Okay, so that's interesting. So although, let's have a look at that actually. Right, let's mark that on dead daily. Put it at the top. And we'll put that one on there as well, just in case we do get up there. And we'll have a look at that one as well. 4 hour range. Again, not particularly clear. Okay, so that daily move, although it hasn't taken the liquidity above the trap, just get rid of that. Although it hasn't taken the liquidity above the trap, what it has done very clearly is it's taken out the Friday high, which will have liquidity sat above it, of course. So that was, yeah, Thursday's move. So that's our trap here. So we've tagged into the trap of Thursday, and we've taken out Friday's daily level. So it's important to acknowledge that there has been a liquidity clearance here. In terms of momentum, we've got slightly better structure on Euro USD, and we have had a second break of structure. So I would say if we can get a pullback into somewhere like this, maybe into that imbalance, then you know we could potentially get an entry out of here, and I do quite like that motion. It's a little bit clearer on Euro USD than it is on. We still have had that changing of hands, but it's just quite impulsive on the DXY. It looks slightly better on Euro USD, slightly more calculated, and taking out liquidity, initial first break, second true break, taking out structures to the left as well. Yeah, I quite like the look of that, to be fair. Let's see what we can get out of there. GU, used for our confluences. Yeah, not as clean on GU. EU does look quite nice though. As if we get any liquidity clearance, we might not get it. We might just tag into this and then reject off. I'd really like some of that imbalance to be taken out though, ideally. Yeah, that big 15-minute imbalance there, look. We can get a tag into there. That'd be ideal. That may not happen. That would give me my kind of effectively a 15-minute or a 5-minute MSU entry. To see what happens here. Because I would then look to enter in like this. Stop there. First profit target to the left would be 3.2, so I'd be happy with that. Set an alert above that candle. See where we can get as a pullback. Right, so that is Euro USD and DXY analysis for Monday, the 21st of October. Recorded, done. Oh, that's bright. All right, team. I didn't see so many of you in here. How are we all? That's a nice little surprise. What's going on, team? Not much, apparently. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Did anyone do take over? I should have put someone in charge, shouldn't I, to take over the live streams? Oh yeah, good lad. Good lad. How was everyone's week last week? Positive, negative, break even? Did ya? What did you do last week? 4%. Nice. Happy days. What were you trading mostly? Nice. Yeah, I feel like similar to you. That's my kind of preferred pairs and setups now. It's just such a. I like the fact that they're not like directly tied to each other. I just found like so many pairs that I would trade. Excuse me. So many pairs that I would trade. They were just linking too much up with the dollar, and I was just seeing like the same setup on two different charts at the same time.
That's at the minute. I don't think it's seasonal or what, but it's so nice to trade.
Yeah, and do you know what? I realized this on I think on Saturday when I was doing the end of week markup, that it's just continually printing all time highs at the moment, similar to gold. It's just all it is just all time highs, and it just keeps pushing them out, pumping them out, pumping them out. Which is great. It's just well, as we said when I didn't. You've obviously been trading it a little while longer than me, but I think it was off the back of one of your charts, to be fair, Sam. I saw one of your charts and I was like, well, let's go and have a look at this, because I used to trade the DAX when I very, very first traded before I knew what trading was really. Like, I didn't really understand it. I opened a CMC Markets account and I just traded it. And it always used to perform well. Whether that was just coincidence or not, I don't understand. But I went and had a look at it, and it's just so respective of the strategy. I mean, you draw out your ranges, it pulls back, and then it pushes out. Draw out your ranges, pull back, push out. Draw out your ranges, external liquidity sweep, and it's just over and over again provides these like absolute gold setups.
It gives you such an obvious liquidity sweep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with gold at the minute just taking all-time highs, I used to shy away when a chart went to all-time highs. It's almost like that's giving it a push.
Yeah.
Make all-time highs, keep going and going and going.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, we might get an entry here, What's DXY saying? The only thing I don't like about entering like this is how high the DXY is. And how many times have you seen the market do this, and then by the time you're in your trade, it's all the way up here? So I don't know. I have this, not fear, I just don't like trading on Mondays, if I'm honest.
You just gave a beautiful entry this morning to Asia.
What did?
USDJQI.
What was it, a short?
Oh, no, a long.
A long, was it? A long?
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah, of course.
No. Yeah, I'm sure, do you know what? I set my alarm this morning for 6:30 Monday morning and keep the entry at 6:15.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, would you have entered that at 4:30 there?
No, at 6:30, so like a little pullback.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm in there now.
Oh, nice.
You in on that? Are you?
Yeah, I posted it on the charts chat. I'm targeting the highs.
Oh yeah, lovely little move.
That, sure.
Yeah, that's a nice little move, that. So you're targeting up here, aren't you?
Yeah, just there. Yeah, just below the wicks.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. So we've had, gosh, ranges are a bit shit, aren't they? Okay,
I
so
think there's a 30-minute ARTO entry.
yeah, so that's my range. You've had an external liquidity sweep here. Yeah, nice. Definitely see it. External liquidity sweep. I haven't.
The DXY matched up and the
Yeah.
JPY basket as well matched.
Yeah, nice. You've got lots of clean liquidity set up here as well.
Yeah.
You could probably even hold for that first target there, like 4.5, and then you've got a daily level up here that you could use for your second target, just because you've got that imbalance sat above it. So you could then use that daily area as your second target. That would give you like lovely 7R, depending on when you got in, of course. I'd probably take my first profits off here. yeah, I take my first profits off there. Depending on when you got in. Even if I got in late, yeah, I'd still take my first profit off there. Just because that's my first area where I could expect a reversal from. And then I'd be holding, I'd take another little bit off there, and then I'd take a final position up that 150, 150.89. Nice catch, nice catch. Oh, just missed my entry in that. Bollocks. I saw my alert go off as well. I was like, it'll be fine, it'll be there for a little bit. Right, well on that basis then, I'm just going to wait for a break now. And I'm going to get in something like this instead. Let's see if we can get some momentum down. Unless we get another push, of course. So I might do MSU2 there. That's my first target. Let's wait for this 3-minute candle to close and see how it closes, and we'll go from there. Yeah, you bastard. You bastard. Right, I'm jumping in. Right, I'm in. With a 6-pip stop, so that'll put me there at 18588. Okay, so we want a nice push on dollar, which will then support your UJ trade as well. So we both want to push on the dollar, don't we? And then I want to break down on here. If it takes me out, I'll just take the higher entry. I'll just take the loss, and I'll just take the higher entry. But hopefully it should hold. TP1 will be there. And then I'll take my final profit off down there. Yeah, it'd be nice if we can get that. Lovely 3R to start the day, start the week off. Come on then. Let's kind of think through the opposing argument. So the opposing argument is that we've taken liquidity to the left. Well, I wouldn't really class this as a liquidity sweep because of how corrective it is. So it just looks like a shift, doesn't it? It doesn't look like this is an impulse to take liquidity to the left. And if we look through where our liquidity is sat, so we acknowledge the fact on Saturday that we probably had a lot of liquidity sat above here. So that's the only other area that we could be taking, because all of the liquidity from up here will be moved to down around here anyway. Break-even points, various other factors. And then we've come into here, we've tagged into this, which has acted as supply. We've taken out all the liquidity but the liquidity high, and then we've started to reject. So it doesn't strike me as a huge amount of reason on this chart to go bullish. Taking liquidity, push down. We just need a nice close now, a nice confident close on the 5 or the 15 minute would be nice. We're coming up to a 15 minute candle, aren't we? So if we can get a nice rejection candle on the 15 minute and a 30 minute as well. GU gave us divergence as well. Oh, Sam, you'll be pleased to hear I recorded the mental ship divergence video on Saturday.
Nice. When you're releasing it?
Once I've edited it, so next couple of days, hopefully.
I went over the was it webinar 16 thing you
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one. It makes it clear, but still quite confusing to see which one you would actually trade if you wanted to take the higher risk or the one that's made high and not the low, or the low risk. Do you know what I mean?
I like taking the one that's had the most recent liquidity sweep.
Yeah.
So if I was trading GU compared to EU, this, and I go over this in the video as well, this trade, let's just say that's how you would have taken it. This trade has a lower risk to reward. Yeah. Because of the fact that you're framing up that as your protected, if you want to call it that, as your protected level. This one, however, you've obviously got no high to the left, which means this is most likely the most recent. The other issue as well, remember, is that when you have this move like this, you've generated liquidity here, so there's a higher chance that it sweeps once more. With this one, the liquidity has just been taken, so the chance of it pushing higher again is lesser. So I always go for this one because then you can use something like an MSU entry, and you know that same move here, for example, gives us 6.2, whereas with GU gives us 2.7.
Yeah.
So I always like picking the higher one. The difference is that this is a higher risk trade. That's one thing that we have to consider, is that this is a higher risk trade. Because it's higher and therefore we've got less confirmation, so it's showing less weakness than GU. GU is clearly showing us that it wants to change direction and go bearish, okay, because it's failed to make a new high, so it's a clear indication that we're going to go short earlier. This one has just made a new high, which shows that there's actually strength in that move still. So for me, the risk I like to take is I like to take the higher one, because the higher one will ultimately give me, usually a better outcome. But it's the way I like to use it is I probably wouldn't trade that, and I probably wouldn't trade that. I'd wait for my confirmation to come in. It's like an early warning signal. That's the way to look at it. It's like your radar's going off, and it's like, right, you need to start looking for a trade now because you've got divergence on EU GU. I like using the three in combination with each other to give me an idea of what the actual market move is, and I usually go with the one that is the confluent two, if that makes sense. So if EU, like on this, EU and DXY are doing the same, because they're both, that one's made a lower low, this made a higher high. GU just shows us that there's weakness possibly on, and this would actually, in this situation, this would potentially detract a little bit from our setup, because GU is the only one showing weakness, whereas EU is showing strength, and the DXY is showing strength as well, or weakness. You know what I'm saying, right? So it's just one to watch out for that. I would prefer EU and GU to both have made lower lows, for example, and the DXY to have made a higher high, but the opposite of, right?
Yeah.
Shit, not that. Yeah, a higher high, yeah? So DXY to make a higher high, and then I can go to EU. I can go to EU and be like, right, okay, we got weakness there, we got weakness there. Okay, cool. So, generally I've got weakness. And so I can get into the trade. So that's how I prefer to use it. But, ultimately, if we get divergence on these charts, then it's a signal for us to get into the trade. It's like anything, that we learn here. It's not to be traded completely on its own. It's something to be used in confluence with other factors. We had a nice push then, but it seems to have closed back up. But the 30-minute candle will have just closed. So, think about your kind of candle cycles. Potentially, we could just be putting back into the wick of this 30-minute candle to then, grab some internal liquidity to go short again. So let's see where we go from here. I would like a nice push down now. As it's Monday, I'll take my risk off pretty early. So I'm considering halving my stop already. But I will just give it a little bit more room to breathe and just see where we end up. Oh, excuse me. Come on. Oh, dude, it's always making that annoying little I'm too high pattern. Shit, I didn't post this in the chat.
Anyway, take it easy.
Alright, Sammy, have a good day, mate. I've got a feeling like it just feels like we're just going to have another push and then potentially a drop. Chris, have you taken anything today?
No, not yet.
No?
I was waiting for what you said, like pull back high.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I like being in the edges of me.
Yeah.
So, high risk, I guess, right? Being in a continuation or whatever. I don't know, I didn't like the location today. I mean, it was hard to judge if it was just like an initial liquidity sweep down, it's going to pull back high, or
Yeah, I see that.
bearish again. And what you took is going to play out, right?
Yeah, I think
It was hard. I didn't really know. I was confused, right? So.
that's good, mate. That's good. That's exactly what you should be doing. You should be, if you're not 100% on the trade, you should not be taking the trade. Simple as that. For me, I had all the moving parts that I needed, and I'll manage it.
Yeah, like you said, I'd rather be in like high up, right? And then
Yeah.
I would have my stop higher, I guess. Now
Yeah.
people will try and trade, and then it's just kind of not worth it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's fine.
So this is basically, this move here is an MSU2. So you enter using the engulfing candle. So there's kind of two ways to do the MSU2. You can enter off the liquidity sweep, which would be my first option. That would have been my first option with a stop of the high. Or you can enter off the candle itself. So the MSU2 is just a way. There's two ways to kind of tighten up the entry. So you've got to acknowledge the fact that there's always the opportunity that price might come up and sweep you again. What I found in my testing recently, as I'm testing for the new strategy stuff, is that the MSU2 you can actually, if you lose on the first entry, there's normally enough R in the position to get out of it a second entry and still do just as well as if you were to have taken the MSU, the classic MSU entry in the first place. Because the stop's so much tighter, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, makes sense. It's kind of how I used to trade, is like just trying to, like, I don't know if you call it scalping or whatever, but if you're not in at the top with a safe stop, then you try get in lower.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it never worked out too well.
Yeah, you've definitely got to be really careful with it, definitely.
Yeah.
And they take a bit more management than other positions as well. Like if I don't get any clear movement on this soon, I'll be either closing it with a small profit or just halving my stop, taking at least half my risk off the table and just seeing what happens. DXY is doing this annoying pattern it often does, where it can reverse from. It's like it runs out of steam, and it struggles to get any higher. We may get a bigger push, but look, at the end of the day, it's Monday, right? It's Monday. We don't need to put too much pressure on these trades, and it's equally why I'm not gonna lose a full position on a trade unnecessarily as well. I think I'm going to take half my stop off here. Alright, so I've gone down to half risks at 8,555. Come on then. Okay, it's looking more positive now, isn't it?
Beautiful.
How's your UJ getting on? Good?
progressing.
Nice.
It's got full TP at the top.
Yeah, I've gone short as well now.
Say again?
I've gone short now as well on EU.
On EU, nice.
Yeah.
Were you taking profit off, Anton?
So I put full TP out right at the top. You have to, yeah, about just under that. Just
About here.
yeah, about there.
Maybe the Asia high there. Might be a good level.
Yeah, so it's around there.
Nice. Are you risk off now?
No.
No, leaving risk on.
Yeah.
As
so
in
about
your stop. You haven't moved your stop. I mean.
No, stop's still the same.
Okay.
It's about 3.4 R.
Yeah, nice.
Risk is still on the table.
You're at 3.4, are you?
I've had it. No, it's 3.4 R full TP.
Okay, nice. So you
I've had
would
it
have been.
before where I go break even and it tests, and then it goes to TP.
Yeah.
It annoys me.
Yeah. Have you started putting your trades in the strategy tester?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm slack with the admin. I need to
Yeah.
improve in that department big time.
Definitely get on that. Definitely get on that. I'd highly recommend it. It just gives you like a lot more confidence to hold trades longer, basically. And in time, once you've got enough data, you can rework or refine your trading strategy as well. Because you'll have, once you've got 200 trades in there, especially if it's like 6 months worth of live data, you'll have everything you need to understand based upon your strategy when you should be holding your trades too.
And you're just doing that by going back in trading view, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well,
I use it basically now instead of my fancy Notion journal. I just use my strategy tester now. I don't really need to anymore acknowledge things like my emotions and all the stuff you do when you're in the early days. That I'll be honest, I'm not sure 100% how helpful it is anyway. The most important thing for me is data. So collecting data, having data at hand, being able to go and review data and understand what I should or shouldn't be doing next time. That for me is crucial.
Yeah.
So I just use the strategy tester now more than anything else.
Definitely need to get on that.
Yeah, it's good. Come on, we don't want to pull back here. We don't want to pull back here. To be fair, if we get a big pullback, I'm probably just going to close this. Only because it's Monday and I'd rather not start the week with even a small loss.
What was your target on that EU trade if you got there? Was it just R or the liquidity point?
Just
R,
that, yeah, it's like a 15 minute swing low.
Yeah. If you were putting in a 4-hour range today, would you use from that wick high, would you? Use wick high?
Yeah, so we've got larger.
Right, like 2.
Yeah, so that's the 4-hour range. Confirmed because we've had a confirmed pullback. So that's the 4-hour range, but then within there as well, we've also got internal ranges. So, which have now shifted. To be fair, they have now shifted. So you've got your 15-minute structure that's now shifted bearish. So we've got everything we need for this short. Everything we need for this short for sure. It's just it's Monday. Look, again, I think sometimes we put too much pressure on Mondays, right? It's Monday at the end of the day. The market doesn't need to do anything on a Monday. If anything, the market is just gonna correctively bounce up and down. That's historically what Mondays do. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I get another push down, I'm probably gonna tighten my stop again to something like that. Just to take most of my risk off, because I've got no real direction yet. I'm trading purely on price action. I've got no kind of weekly market direction to support this trade right now. I'm just trading off the fact that dollar looks bullish and EU looks bearish. Right, guys, I'm going to jump off because I'm just staring at the charts. And that's when traders make mistakes, I find, or when I do stupid things. So I'm going to switch the charts off for a little bit. I'm going to see where my alerts take me, and I'll keep you guys updated in the group. Good luck, Smithers. And good luck, Anton.
Thank you.
All right.
And yourself.
All right, I'll catch you all in the group. See you in a bit. Cheers, lads. Bye-bye.